Two pieces of NFL news just coming down. Marshawn Lynch's one-game suspension has been upheld by the NFL. Lynch was suspended after running onto the field and making contact with an official in Thursday's win over the Chiefs. Raiders at the Bills this week. And this is big news. Eagles left tackle Jason Peters is done for the season with a torn ACL and MCL in his right knee. The Eagles had been optimistic that Peters would be able to return this season, but the MRI this morning showed the torn ACL. The Eagles also lost linebacker Jordan Hicks for the season with a torn Achilles tendon. So costly. You don't know my name. Been around the block, paparazzi game. And I'll say it again. Hollywood, come on, man.
The Greek Freak has gotten off to an amazing start this season. He's just the second player in NBA history to average 35, 10, and 5 in his team's first 4 games. The only other to do so, you heard of him, Russell Westbrook. Russ went on to win the MVP, you may remember, but it's not a surprise that Giannis Antetokounmpo is now the favorite to capture the award. Nice name, Carrie. Just a week ago, he had the 5th best odds right behind LeBron, Kawhi, KD, and Russ.
You nailed that, Carrie. Nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got Amin Al-Hassan, our NBA front office insider, with us. Antetokounmpo plays in Milwaukee, so you always wonder, did we not figure out how great he was last year, or has he, at the age of 22, taken another step forward in the evolution?
Well, the answer is yes to both.
To both.
Right? So part of it is being in Milwaukee, not a sexy destination, not yet an elite team either, so they kind of fall under the radar. But he was great last year. He won Most Improved Player, but he was, in my book, he was an MVP candidate as well. It's just we had so many great individual seasons last year between Westbrook and Harden and LeBron. It was just a little hard for him to get over that noise, especially with the Bucks not being so great. I think he's taken a step forward, but I think also the Bucks are taking a step forward this year. They're one of the best teams in the East. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up with a top 2 seed in the playoffs. And a lot of it is because of him and how great he is. But he has gotten better, David.
All right, I apologize ahead of time for asking you this question. We always want to have them all ranked and slotted and everything. Where is the Greek Freak in the hierarchy there?
All right, so direct all of your Twitter hate to this gentleman right here. He asked the question.
Okay.
I think somewhere in the top 6, you know, and this is all so fluid. You know, LeBron won. I still think Steph Curry, for the impact that he has without ever touching a basketball, just being on the floor, it's something that I don't think we have great metrics for, but to me, he's the best player on Golden State. Kevin Durant is 1A, I guess, in there. And then there's a drop. And then we say Harden, Westbrook, and Antetokounmpo. I think you could make an argument for either one of those guys to be 4.
Okay.
And so if you're asking me right now who's playing the best basketball, I think you have to put Giannis higher on that list. But you're saying just overall, I think he's around 6.
Okay, well, we'll see if that number starts to go up as well. He's such a great young player. You live in Phoenix.
I do.
You were in the Suns front office at one point, and you're watching what's going on with that team right now, firing the coach, Earl Watson, and Eric Bledsoe basically has that tweet who says, I want to be out of here, although he said he was at a hair salon. So
he was at the hair salon.
Okay.
He was.
Okay.
I don't know what the tweet was about, but he was at the hair salon.
What do you make of that entire situation right now?
I mean, this is par for the course. This is what you've created in terms of that ownership group has created in terms of dysfunction, in terms of never having a plan that you stick to, in terms of one day someone is my champion, and the next day he's the GOAT, and the reason why everything is bad, and we need to get him out of here because he's a bad guy, because Eric Bledsoe's a bad guy, because Goran Dragic is a bad guy, because the Morris twins are bad guys. And check find all these, there's a long list of players who wanted to be in Phoenix, and then at some point don't want to be in Phoenix anymore. And when that comes across, then the team says, well, I didn't like you anyway because I always thought there was something wrong with you. All that comes from, David, not having a set plan and not being able to execute said plan. So, for instance, Earl Watson. I'm not here to sit here and tell you that he's one of the best coaches in the league, but I'm here to tell you that they knew all summer long who Earl Watson was because he'd been there for a couple of years. They knew training camp, they knew preseason. You tell me 3 games in, all of a sudden, like, wait.
Right.
Maybe he's not what we thought he was. That's all kind of this fly by the seat of your pants, making snap judgments and all that. This leads to this kind of turmoil that you have. I mean, you got an owner who's in the locker room trying to draw up plays for guys. This is
Robert
not.
Sarver's doing that.
This is not normal. This is not regular. And if you're a Suns fan and you're saying to yourself, why are we always bad? Say, look around the league and ask yourself how many owners feel the need to insert themselves into everything on such a micromanaging level. There aren't that many. I can think of one who actually does it well, and it's Mark Cuban. But other than that, most of the guys, you think about the great teams, the great franchises, well-run San Antonio, Miami, Golden State. You got an owner, and it says, hey, guys, I hired you to do the job. You do the job.
Get it. All right. We'll see how it plays out. Eric Bledsoe has been sent home, so that makes him even more difficult to trade at this point. Who knows how it's going to work out for him.
Bashing the guy doesn't help when you try
It sure doesn't. You're running down
Bill Jackson taught us that one, right?
Exactly. Amin Al-Hassan joining us today, getting us ready on Coast to Coast.
Hey, Amin, good job there. Meanwhile, look, if you would have told Dodgers fans that about 14 months ago, Yasiel Puig would be playing in this year's World Series, they would have said, no, not so much. I don't think so. Maybe perhaps for another team. Coming up, we talk about the transformation from the minors to the Fall Classic. David?
All right, Carrie, Penn State routed Michigan. Can they do the same to Ohio State this week? Key and Paul join us to talk about that next on Coast to Coast.